Virtual assistant or online business manager, which role do you step into and who do you hire? Hey, I'm Sarah Noked, and in today's video, I'm going to be diving into some of the key differences between virtual assistant, commonly referred to as VA, and online business manager, commonly referred to as OBM. Before we get into some of the key differences, I want to level the playing field by talking about some of the key similarities. The first big similarity is flexibility. Flexibility is definitely the name of the game, especially for those of us who are wanting to step into this role. I know for myself, it's about being able to be home with my kids, about having that flexibility and freedom to travel to Canada when I need to, because I am an expat living overseas. So it's really important to me to be able to work from anywhere, working in my pajamas, all that good stuff. So I know that this from my students is the main kind of reason for becoming a virtual assistant or online business manager. So I know that was the case for myself. Now, the second big similarity is the fact that we are self-employed. So most of the OBMs that I train are wanting to be self-employed. They are wanting to work for themselves and to, and have that, the highs and lows of the entrepreneurial life and all that good stuff. But this is changing as well. So I've noticed over the last year, especially, that there's been a push and a lot of the requests for proposals that are coming out, a lot of the calls for bringing these roles on the team are from the employment perspective. So the wonderful thing about the evolution of this online industry or this digital industry is that people are aware of these roles. So back in the day, it was like the elusive OBM or VA. What are these roles and who are these people? But now it's really more commonplace and it's more and more becoming very well known. So when people are requesting to work with VAs and OBMs, you're seeing a lot of the times entrepreneurs requesting it be like a full-time or a part-time employment position. One of the things that I see with my own students is that most of them are really driven, myself included. There's that sort of entrepreneurial spirit that you might not be 100% invested in, but it's that little voice inside of you that's like, you can do this, you can establish a business, you can, pay your taxes and your expenses and, be all buttoned up and have it together, and you can rock it very well as well. Being an entrepreneur and having your own business is definitely a big part of being an online business manager and a virtual assistant. As OBMs, we typically have a few clients on our roster. I dove more into this in last week's video, what is an online business manager? So if you want to check that out, feel free. It is a really great resource if you are wanting to dig more into what it means to be an online business manager. So the entrepreneurial piece is definitely a part of this equation, whether you are a virtual assistant or an online business manager. Now, the next big similarity is the fact that we are very resourceful. So whether you are a virtual assistant or an online business manager, learning new tech or pivoting because the algorithm has changed in Facebook, having to sort of change the strategy or getting on board with a new idea that your client has, it is really a big piece of this job. And it's definitely one of the strengths that you can have, whether you are choosing the virtual assistant route or the OBM route, or you are finding yourself in between. Being resourceful and having the sort of student for life, quote unquote, mentality is really going to get you far, because the truth is, and it is the blessing and the curse in our industry, is things evolve very fast. The evolution is crazy in the online space. So you have to be resourceful. You have to know to a certain extent that technology changes. One of the things I will say here on a side note that I hear from a lot of my students and just from the community at large, that everyone is really sort of obsessed with knowing technology. But one of the things I like to remind my students about is that this is always evolving and changing. So you're never going to be that far ahead because of the natural progression of this industry. Things evolve, things change. So you have to be light on your toes. You have to be open-minded to learning things. You're never going to learn something and then have it stay forever and ever and ever like that. And for me, that's what makes these roles very exciting. And it's what keeps things kind of fun and interesting, and you never know what to expect. But then it can also make you crazy. So you have to really embrace the student for life and this resourceful piece. Okay, so we dove into a bit of the similarities. Now I want to talk a little bit about some of the core differences of the actual roles themselves OBM, VA. So the first big difference regarding the roles themselves, and this is very obvious in the names, is the fact that one is an assistant and one is a manager. Let's really dive into this for a second. And I've thought really long and hard about this. So the first big piece that I want to dive into is the motivation. Where does this motivation come from? So from the virtual assistant perspective, the motivation is around making sure that the tasks are getting done on time to the best of our ability, having that really satisfying check off of that list and moving on to the next task. Whereas from the OBM perspective, the motivation is really making sure that the right people are doing the right things, that from a quality assurance perspective, things are being done to the best of the ability, that you have the right people in the right roles in that business. So much more motivated by the whole of the group rather than the typical little piece that you're working on. So it's more of like a group effort motivation, making sure that everybody's doing what they need to be doing and that we are really focused on the goals that need to happen. Now, the second big difference in the role is the mindset. This is an interesting one because the mindsets are very different. So from a VA mindset perspective, it's really about getting things done. You know, you're really focused on the task at hand. How can I help you? What needs to be done? What are the tasks at hand today? Whereas from the OBM mindset perspective, it's about here's how I can help you. Here are the things that need to happen today. Here's what I recommend starting with. So you're coming at it from a perspective where you're telling what needs to be done instead of waiting to be told what needs to be done. And that's one of those key distinctions that I love to really highlight to people. If you're watching this video right now and you're thinking about transitioning from VA to OBM, this is a key piece. You might be like, oh, no problem, I can move into a managing position, but you're still of the VA mindset, waiting for people to delegate tasks for you, or you don't feel nice about, telling people what to do. That's a big difference. It's sort of subtle, but it actually is huge for you and for your clients because a lot of shifts happen when you go from saying to the client, hey, what do you need help with today? Versus, hey, here's what I've got on tap today and here's how I want to prioritize things. It's a matter of putting something on your client's plate, which is the sort of onus and decision on giving you something to do that day, versus taking that responsibility off the client's plate and saying, here's what I'm gonna be doing. You don't need to decide. I'm gonna be deciding what I need to be doing, and I'm gonna also be working with the team to get them focused on what they need to be doing. So it's a really distinct mindset piece. Then that's what sort of trickles into that next big difference, which is the clients. And this is gonna be very key for you if you are hiring a virtual assistant or an OBM, or you're thinking about hiring. This is gonna be one of those things where you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So I wanna give you some insight in that today because I think it's really important here. Whether you are hiring for this role or you are looking to become this role, you need to really understand what the client looks like so you know who you're looking for. So from the VA perspective, I really honestly believe that every business needs a virtual assistant to some degree. Every business needs somebody who can implement. It doesn't matter if you are a startup, if you are just getting it together. It doesn't matter if you have a full-fledged 7-8-figure business. Every business needs an implementer, whether you are a tech VA or a graphic VA or even a more general VA. I think any business can benefit from the wisdom and, implementation and just time of having a VA on your team. The OBM is not right for every client. From the OBM perspective, a client needs to have 3 things. The client needs to have a proven business model. So that means that there is revenue being generated. They are not in startup mode. They are in proven business model mode. We've launched this thing multiple times. We know more or less what the monthly revenue, even if there's like dips and, ebbs and flows in the revenue, more or less, it's still proven business model, right? Whatever the business is selling, it's very clear that it's working and all that good stuff. So there's that piece. And then the second piece that's really kind of important for the OBM is that there has to be a team to manage, right? There has to be team members. So that's why I love to say to clients, like, either you're bringing on an OBM to manage things. Sometimes clients will bring on an OBM to manage them because they don't like project management and they don't want to hire a VA. They want to bring on an OBM to help them with the hiring and with the reshuffling and organization and the building of the team. But there needs to be something to be managing there. So managing that proven business model business, but also team members. And then the next big thing is that the business owner, and if you're listening here, I really want you to hear this, dear business owner, you have to have a delegation mindset. So as an online business manager, one of the things that I struggled with for years and years and years was understanding that a business can be successful. They can have the proven business model and the team, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the client is ready to give up the reins and have somebody else come in and manage those parts and pieces. This very distinct mindset shift that needs to happen on the part of the client. And so if you're listening to this, dear clients, and you're thinking about bringing an OBM on your team, you have to yourself be in that mindset that you are ready to delegate and hand the reins over to somebody else. Keep that in mind. So today we've talked a little bit about the core differences and the core similarities. I hope that this was really useful. I'm gonna put some more links below this video to some additional resources that are especially gonna be useful for you if you are just getting started as an online business manager. So I'll pop those below, and stay tuned next week when we drop a new video. We drop videos every Wednesday, and I will see you then.